Falcons fans, what just happened in Tampa Bay? This wasn't just a loss. It was a gut punch. A game that slipped away, not because the Bucs were better, but because Atlanta beat itself. Missed chances, bad play calling, and one burning question we all need to face today. Are the Falcons already in trouble, or is this just the beginning of something bigger? Let's break it all down. Sunday felt brutal. The Falcons walked into Tampa Bay, fought hard, and still walked out with nothing to show for it. A game that should have been ours turned into heartbreak. And now the entire fan base is buzzing with frustration, disappointment, and maybe even a little panic. But let's take a deep breath, because it wasn't all bad. In fact, the first big takeaway is this. The Falcons finally have their quarterback. Michael Penix Jr. looked sharp. The rookie played with confidence, stood tall in the pocket, and showed he's not afraid of the moment. The numbers might not jump off the page, but if you actually watched the game, you saw a young QB making NFL throws. Yes, he had mistakes. He missed a few reads, overthrew a couple of passes, but that's expected from a rookie. What matters is how he handled pressure. Time and time again, Penix drove this team downfield and gave them chances to score. Some of his receivers let him down, dropping passes in critical moments, but he never lost his composure. That's rare. That's special. Atlanta should feel proud about the future at quarterback. But while Penix looked like the real deal, the same can't be said about the coaching staff. Zach Robinson's play calling? A nightmare. Predictable. Flat. Every Falcons fan watching at home could see what was coming. And guess what? So could the Bucs defense. The pistol formation became a running joke. Run, RPO slant, handoff, repeat. Over and over. No creativity, no adjustments, no answers. Here's the kicker. Atlanta actually outplayed Tampa Bay in almost every single category. More first downs, more total yards, higher yards per play. They controlled the tempo, they had the numbers, but the difference came down to bad situational football. When the moment demanded smart play calling, Atlanta folded. And that's what stings the most. This wasn't a game the Falcons lost because they were outclassed. It was a game they gave away. Falcons Nation, I need you in the comments right now. What's your confidence level in this team after week 1? Are you still riding with the Falcons as a playoff contender, or are you already hitting the panic button? Drop your take below, because this is about to be one of the most emotional seasons we've ever seen. The numbers don't lie. Atlanta should have won this game. The Falcons were sharper on fourth down. They controlled the clock, they ran more plays, and they flat-out dominated time of possession. When you do all of that and still lose, that screams one thing: play calling failure. Let's rewind to one of the most telling moments. Michael Penix Jr. pulled off one of the best plays of the night, a desperate scramble on fourth down. He fought through contact, kept his knee off the turf, stretched the ball forward, and somehow moved the chains. It was gritty. It was clutch. It was the kind of play that fires up a team. And what happens next? Instead of building on that momentum, instead of punching the ball forward with force, the Falcons call a wide sweep to Bijan Robinson from the 1-yard line. A sweep. On the goal line. Are you kidding me? You've got a chance to smash it in, to let your offensive line impose its will, and instead, you get fancy. Sure, they eventually scored on that drive, but the problem is bigger. This staff is trying to be too clever when the answer is simple. Stop overthinking. Run the ball downhill. Take control. And here's the real problem. The leash on Zach Robinson is shrinking fast. Every week of wasted opportunities, every head-scratching call, and every drive killed by predictability pushes him closer to the hot seat. But it doesn't stop there, because Raheem Morris has to wear this too. He's the head coach. The responsibility ends with him. So, let's not dance around it. Was Zach Robinson the biggest reason the Falcons lost? For me, it's not even a debate. The answer is yes. Go back and watch the tape. Penix was overcoming bad play calls. Bijan was turning broken plays into highlight catches because the run game was completely shut down. And it wasn't because Tampa Bay's defense was unstoppable. It was because the Falcons' scheme gave them nothing to fear. Atlanta's ground attack was neutralized by its own play caller. No creativity, no deception, no rhythm. Just repetition until the Bucs' defense swallowed it whole. That's why the rushing numbers look so poor. That's why a game the Falcons should have controlled turned into another wasted chance. This loss wasn't about being outplayed. It was about being outcoached. Falcons fans, I've got to know. Who do you blame more for this loss? Zach Robinson for his play calling, or Raheem Morris for letting it happen? Drop your answer in the comments. Because if this doesn't change soon, the Falcons season could collapse before it even gets going. The hits just keep coming for the Falcons, and and not in a good way. Atlanta is already fighting uphill after that loss to Tampa Bay, and now the injury report looks like a nightmare. Drake London, your #1 wideout, is banged up with a shoulder injury and listed day-to-day. That's not small news, that's a gut punch. Because when you lose a player like London, the entire passing game feels it. And it doesn't stop there. Look at the list. Darnell Mooney couldn't go in Week 1. Jack Nelson and Clark Phillips were unavailable. DeMarco Hellams was ruled out. Storm Norton? Still weeks away. Caleb McGarry? Done for the season. This isn't just bad luck, it's a storm that could derail the Falcons before they even get going. And here's the hard truth. The healthiest teams win when the season gets long and ugly. Every single injury chips away at your depth, your rhythm, and your confidence. Now, no one blames players for getting hurt. Football is brutal. Hits pile up, freak accidents happen. But when the list of injuries starts growing this fast, fans have to ask questions. What's going on at practice? What's happening in conditioning? Are guys being overworked or pushed in drills that are doing more harm than good? Because at some point, it stops being bad luck and starts being a pattern. And for a team that desperately needs every ounce of firepower, these injuries feel like body shots that just keep coming. But as bad as that is, something else has fans boiling over. And it has nothing to do with health. It has everything to do with accountability. Young-Ho Koo, one of the most trusted kickers in the league, had a nightmare against Tampa. First, he clanks one off the upright. Then he misses the game-tying field goal. Painful, but it happens, right? Kickers have bad days. But here's where it gets ugly. After the game, Koo didn't face the media. He left before reporters were even allowed in. No words, no accountability, nothing. Just silence. And Falcons fans? That's not leadership. That's not owning up to your mistakes. Every other player, guys who fought, bled, and took that loss on the chin, had to stand in front of the cameras and answer for it. But the kicker, the guy who had the game on his foot, wasn't there. That doesn't just look bad for Koo. It reflects on the entire team. His teammates see it. The coaches see it. Fans see it. And once you lose that trust, once people start questioning your professionalism, it's a slippery slope. Because in the NFL, it's not just about missing kicks. It's about how you respond after you do. And right now, Young-Ho Koo's stock has never been lower. Falcons fans, be honest with me. Do you still trust Koo after that game? Or has he lost you? Drop your answer in the comments. Because this could be the start of something much bigger for Atlanta's future. The Falcons invested first-round picks in Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. for one reason, to change games. And in Week 1, that spark was missing. Walker finished with just 3 tackles. Pierce had a single quarterback hit. Yes, there were flashes. Pierce came close to recording a sack, showing that burst we've heard about all offseason. But close doesn't win football games. Atlanta needs finishers, not almosts. Here's the reality. Baker Mayfield went 0-4-6 when pressured, but when given time, he carved this defense apart. That tells us everything. The Falcons can rattle quarterbacks when the front brings heat. But the pressure wasn't consistent. It would come in waves, then vanish for drives at a time. That's not good enough. Walker was drafted at 15th overall to be more than a guy who blends in. Pierce was picked to be more than a what-if. Together with Arnold Ebiketie and Leonard Floyd, this group should be making life miserable for opposing QBs every snap. Instead, Tampa Bay found too many clean pockets. The truth? The rookies get a pass for Week 1, but only once. Next time, the flashes need to become sacks. The pressures need to turn into game-changing plays. Because if this unit reaches its potential, Atlanta's defense transforms from solid to dominant. The Bucs only scored 23. That's a win compared to last season. But the Falcons lost the game. And until these rookies turn potential into production, the pass rush will be more of a what could be than a weapon. Falcons fans, what grade are you giving this defense after Week 1?